What is up, veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another season review of the final season of The Walking Dead. And I've been binge watching recently over the past few months, rewatching this series and everything, and finally finishing it is insane. And I'm going to talk about the series as a whole in another video, but this is just going to be covering this season. So with the talks about this season, I actually have some stuff pulled up. We're actually inside the Commonwealth, seeing that the Commonwealth is kind of like the old world. Like everything is like, um, everything is like interesting and everything. And we also see freaking uh, they go now that Maggie's like back and everything we got from the bonus episodes in the last season. There's a little bit of stuff there going on, and they go out searching for supplies and everything. And then also we finally see Connie again, and then eventually Connie reunites with the others. Um, um, Virgil though just disappears. Then like Daryl winds there turns out to be there's this group that was been hunting that killed all of Maggie's people and everything. And it turns out that this group is a crazy group and everything. That the girl that I forget her name that Daryl was had a little relationship with, she's part of that group, and it becomes this whole thing. And that winds up taking up a good few episodes, um and we also see like we find Eugene meets Stephanie, but then we find out later that that's not actually Stephanie. Like, the Stephanie was never really Stephanie. She was someone named Max, and they were trying to like a whole bunch of stuff, and that stuff happens and everything. The group that the group that Daryl's ex girlfriend, whatever, I forget her name, part of, they wind up killing her, the leader, but then she still turns on. She's still against our group and everything, but then Maggie winds up killing all of her people, but Daryl kind of lets her go. Um, and then the Commonwealth finally comes to Alexandria and be like, "Hey, you guys want to come help us? You guys want to come help us?" And we're here to help you guys. But if any of you guys want to come to the Commonwealth, there's a bit of a good chunk of people go to the Commonwealth. A good people stay at Alexandria, um, where we see a lot more people get jobs. Like Daryl and Rosita become soldiers. Ezekiel becomes a zookeeper. Freaking uh Carol's a baker. Jerry's there. The kids are there and everything. And it's very interesting. Yumiko is a lawyer, and we meet the leader of the group, of the Commonwealth, Pamela. And like I said, we eventually find out that we meet the real Stephanie. Her name was actually Max, and she's actually Pamela's secretary. Um, um, and even though Alexandria is like good with the Commonwealth and everything, Hilltop really isn't. And eventually we met this other group. The other group they try to like recruit to the Commonwealth. That doesn't go well and everything. And that's where Negan is at this point. Negan is now married and has a kid on the way. Even though it's only been like 6 months. But we also like see that freaking Pamela's son, who is a terrible person, winds up causing a bunch of problems and everything. Um, and they wind up catching him in the, basically like getting him to admit that the Commonwealth is a sham and blah blah blah. And eventually that leads to him dying and everything. But I'm skipping over some stuff. Also Daryl's ex girlfriend or whatever her name. I don't remember her name. Um, rejoins the common. She joins the Hornsby, who's kind of like doing a bunch of shady stuff. To kind of and I was like, hey, you want to kill Maggie? I want to kill Maggie. Let's go kill Maggie. And they got her involved in everything. And then eventually, freaking Alexandria and Common and Hilltop are literally taken over by the Commonwealth and everything. Um, and there winds up being a whole bunch of protests and drama and everything that happens and everything. Hornsby gets arrested. Um, Pamela's son winds up dying. Um, Eugene takes the fall for all of that. The bunch of our characters get sent to these work areas, and that go. But then Negan kind of sets up this whole little plan to where like it basically stops all that, and they're able to take back over Alexandria. Oh, and I mentioned walkers are like grabbing stuff and stuff like that now. That's happening too. Like, but like, then eventually, not Negan, Lydia gets bit. That happens. A lot happens in this season, and the Mercer winds up getting arrested for helping um or helping Eugene escape execution and all that stuff, and then eventually they blow up freaking Pamela's house because she's hiding in there, and I'm gonna let everyone else die. But and she winds up getting arrested, and I'm really butchering this recap. But Rosita dies. We get a time jump forward. Eugene has a kid. We see all the stuff building up the next spin-offs and everything, and that's the season. I know I butchered that completely. Like it was terrible. Like it was a terrible recap of that season. But oh my goodness, I butchered that recap so bad. But anyway, this season feels so different. Like when I was watching this, a friend of mine was like walked in, and it was like what the heck? I thought it was The Walking Dead. Why are there stormtroopers and blah blah blah? So like, if you don't know what's going on up to this point, and you come in on this, walking on this, like, hey, I'm watching The Walking Dead. They'd be like, why are there stormtroopers? But overall, I think this season does everything it sets out to do fairly decently. There's a lot of stuff. It's like I feel like a lot of the Hornsby stuff is like, can we get through with this and everything? It can be mildly frustrating, and some minor other storylines kind of linger on a little bit too long, in my opinion. Like, did we really need to like, freaking Daryl's ex girlfriend or whatever? She's back. It was not really needed. Do we really need to drag out Hornsby being still alive and everything, and just for him to be killed by Carol later? Um, all the stuff with like Eugene and Max and everything, and like exposing the Commonwealth, that I like. Um, Mercer, such a cool character. I think does a really good job there. Um, I think Ezekiel gets his cancer treated, which is really really good done. We also see a little more of Yumiko's sister. We kind of don't see much of I forget Yumiko, the other girl's name. Uh, the other girl in the group, I forget her name. Starts with an M. Magma, something like that. Um, he's kind of barely in the season. Connie has like a reporter thing, which Magma is kind of in. Magna, it's Magna, right? Yeah. Um, and there's not a lot to do for like that group, which had a pretty big focus on joining things here in the Whisper arc, and everything. Um, but it's still cool they're here. I hate that Luke dies and everything. But overall, I think this season is a pretty decent season. I don't know if it's all like great or anything, but I think it's an all right season. I think the finale just granted a whole video talking about the finale on its own. But overall, I think this season so well executed in some spots, and then other spots it kind of drags and everything. But overall, I think this season is good. I think for the final season, I feel like it's a decent send off. Pamela Milton is an interesting villain. Hornsby's kind of your side villain, kind of, even though he takes. It's kind of a. This is gonna be a weird comparison. Um, it's kind of a Tempest and Storm King thing from the MLP movie. Hear me out. Tempest is clearly the actual villain there, but like the Storm King is the villain and everything. That's kind of what it feels like with this season of The Walking Dead, with like Hornsby's like the villain that does everything, but Pamela is the villain, if that makes sense. Um, and seeing some of these people like be able to do normal stuff is a cool scene in the season, where it's the first time we see Daryl and Judith and RJ in the Commonwealth, and they're going through a little haunted house and everything. I'm like, bro, why would you want to go through something like this after you've already lived through this kind of world? But that's really all I gotta say for the season. Personally, I'd give the season I just give it a 3 out of 5. Personally, I think it's an all right season. I think it's, I like the Commonwealth storyline. I really think it's cool and everything. I just think there are some stuff in the season that drags a little too much and everything. I think some of the stuff in the season could have been done 10 times better. But that's really all I gotta say for the season. I will review the entire show as a whole sometime soon. Keep an eye out for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless, and I will see each and every one of you guys in the next one. Bye.